Alright, let's take a look at GameMaker. Well, here we are again, and this is basically the starting screen of GameMaker. And let's jump right in, because once again, this is a completely blind. Let's take a look at engines, in this case, GameMaker. And in this first episode, I want to go in completely blind. So I just want to create a new project. It is going to be a game, and it is going to be a completely blank game. Let's see. All right, there we go. Let's go and create this project. So here we are in the project, and all right, so let's see. Overall, once again, this is a fairly straightforward thing. We have an inspector right here. We have assets right here. The output at the bottom. I first of all immediately want to maybe change this up a little bit, maybe feel a little bit more home. I think moving this about is a little bit better for me. I really like the inspector on the right side. So let's just take a look and see what I can do. So we have a workspace. You can add assets over here. You can also add windows. We can show windows. Okay, let's add a sprite. Let's create a sprite. There we go. This is a new sprite in the assets folder right here that should probably go into sprites. It's actually pretty nice that apparently in the assets browser right here, it already created for us a complete folder structure, which is pretty cool, actually. Now, I actually wanted to import this sprite. That's correct, because I have one right here importing the sprite. I want to continue. Yes, there you go. That is my sprite that I wanted to import over here. That is from the Tech Dungeon Roguelite from Trevor Pupkin. I will link that in the description below, of course. And it's very interesting because this seems to just sort of out of the gate actually tell me, let's immediately set up an animation. In this case, I'm going to be okay with it like this. But the question is, this is going to be renamed to tank over here, let's say. And then I also have a room. I already have a room. Let's open this room up. So this is my room right here. All right. Width and height. Can I just like push into, like, can I just add the tank right here? The asset you've applied to the asset layer do not correctly. Do you want to create a new asset layer? Sure. Let's create a new asset layer. There he is. And he can move about in a grid-like fashion. I'm unsure if I want the room to be set up in a grid. I don't think that that's quite what I had in mind. Let's get rid of this room. Yeah, I want to delete it. I want to create a completely new room. Give me a new room. Okay, this is still the same idea. All right, fair enough. Okay, if I add my tank once again, it's going to create an asset layer. Let's actually double check over here. This is under assets 1 right here. There's also instances and there's also a background. I understand. Okay, so the layers are up here at the top left, basically. And right now the asset right here is going to be the tank. I can flip the X. I can flip the Y. That's pretty nice. I can scale it up, maybe scale it up by 2 over here. Yeah, there you go. And now let's create a script. Let's just see. Script. Select the scripting language you want. Well, personally, I'm going to choose the code because I'm not the biggest fan of visual coding here in this case. So let's just, yeah, don't ask for me this again. There you go. So now we have a script over here, which is called script 1. Maybe we do want to, change this to once again being something like player movement. Let's go. Now, interestingly enough, this actually is not a script. This is just a singular function called player movement. Probably what happens is that this is the function that gets called. So if I were to do, can I do something like an output? Maybe an output dot write. Oh boy, that is interesting. Maybe there's a print, VK print screen. Recommended name is player underscore movement. All right, fair enough. We actually have a tank resource right here. That's fascinating. So that is going to be this resource. So this probably refers to this game. Interesting. Show debug log, show debug message, passing in a string. Okay. Can I attach it to the layer? I cannot. Okay, maybe okay. Okay, so I've created an object, and I believe this actually makes way more sense. So the object right now has okay, that makes a lot of sense. So basically, while there is like an assets layer where you can just add sprites, you want to create an object right here. Now this is going to be all of that. That's fine. And now you can add events right here. So those are, oh, hello there. That is really good. So key pressed, key down. Let's add the letters first. So that would be, I'm going to add a W right here. So now this, oh my God. And then the stuff happens right here. Oh, that makes actually, this is really cool. This is like, oh, this is very well done. I like this. WASD. Can I change I can't really change that. Okay, that's fair enough. Letters S, and let's also add letter D. You can write your code in this editor. So this will now probably refer to the object, I would assume. It does not refer to the object. Position change. How about I just output something first and foremost? So how about that? Output dot show debug message dot press W, something like that. And the question then is, you can add variables like this. Okay, that's not what okay, so now I have the object. Let's actually get rid of the assets right here entirely. And let's actually add the object right here to the instances layer. And all of a sudden we have a little bit of an idea. Creation code. So this would probably be the code that gets well, called when you start with this. You can still flip it. You can still scale it up by 2 over here. Now, what happens though if I run this? Let's just take a look. So I get this, and can I press W? I mean, I can, but not quite what I had in mind. Object 1 output was not set before reading. Fair enough. Okay, changing it from output.show debug message to just calling the show debug message method or function rather actually does work. Okay, that's fair. Also, this keeps being called for the entirety of while, well, W is pressed basically. Okay, now I want to change the X and Y value when you, so I basically just want to make a movement script. So this would be X. I guess I could just change it by 1 when this is pressed down. Would this already just sort of work? Well, it's not moving in the right direction, but like that's, yeah, no, that would work. This is probably not the ideal way to do it, but it does work. So this would probably be Y plus 1, while A would be X plus minus 1 actually, because that's going to be left. And then this would be Y minus 1 because we're going down. And then this would be X plus 1. And all of a sudden, we have ourselves a movement script, and also up and down are once again the other way around because at the top over here, this is 0, 0. So of course, when you go down, Y would be plus in this case. That is totally fair. So no worries at all. We can change it like that. And then this one is minus. And then all of a sudden, we have a character that moves around. That was fairly straightforward, to be honest. Now I want to get a little bit more creative. So what if I add a variable right here? I'm going to call this speed, okay? And per default, it is 1. This is going to be an, sure, it's an integer. No, make it a real number. We can even set a range over here. That is crazy. Okay, I don't want to set a range though. I just want to do this, and then I want to do this times speed, which is a real. It actually like immediately just finds this. All right, and I want to do this for all the scripts. So this is the only thing where I'm like, I don't necessarily know if you should do it like this so that you have like an insane amount of scripts for each different tiny event, although it's not that bad. And then I want to add another event where when you press down, actually when the key is pressed, let's do a shift over here, let's say. I want to set the speed to 2, yeah. And then conversely, if key up is going to be shift, then speed is equal to 1. So this should be the world's easiest sprint added to a game. Interestingly enough, it now just floats to the right for some reason. Why? That is weird. I'm not doing anything. It's just going to the right. I can't control it. The heck? Oh my god, is this like because the definition, because the variable speed is like, it just uses this? Okay, so I figured it out. Apparently, when you have a variable called speed, it just uses that to move the player like to the right. Or the object that you attach the speed variable to. So that is very funny. Let's rename this to movement speed and change it over here because that is, I mean, that's not quite what I had in mind. All right, and now it finally works. And if I press shift, I move faster. And if I stop holding shift down, well, I don't move fast anymore. That's really cool. I want to make this a little bit, I don't know if necessarily bigger, but I just want to scale this up just the tiniest bit. So, or maybe even a lot of bits. So maybe like 9 by 9 or something like that, just so that I have a little bit more of a view of this. There he is. Look at him. There you go. And I think we want to increase the speed a little bit, but that is as easy as just editing the object right here. And I can even do it inside of the room itself. So I can just say the variable definition speed is going to be, let's say 4 by default. And then I'm just going to change it right here in these two scripts. So when you hold down shift, it's going to be 6 and normally it's going to be 4. Let's go. There you go. Save that. And then I start and it should work. Yep. There you go. That's working. Okay, so far, while the first step was a little bit of a weirdness, now I think I almost understand the framework. I don't want to say in its entirety because I haven't obviously looked at everything. But so far, this is crazy. Because of the event system, which is, I will just lean out of the window and please, good old folks, don't come after me. But this is a similar idea to the signal system, just that you just add a script to each of these events. And the freaking crazy thing about this is, and I just really think that this is crazy. If I do a mouse event, for example, right, and I say left down, and then just for the sake of argument, we're going to do show debug message, and I just say clicked, right? Because I just want to see like how easy it is to add a clicked event to the player. Well, look at this. I go in here, I click anywhere else, nothing works. I click on the player, it just works. That's freaking crazy to me. That's a really freaking fast way to add this. And of course, once again, every time it goes down to more and more complicated things, obviously this might be at some point annoying or not easy to deal with, or you would want to have to set this up completely differently. But right now, looking at it like this is pretty freaking good. So I want to try the following. I'm going to add another sprite over here, which is going to be my asteroid. And I'm going to use this asteroid in the following way. I'm going to, first of all, just close the player tank right here. This is my asteroid. That's fine. I now want to create a new object. So this would be the asteroid. So let's just rename this to asteroid. There you go. This is going to take the sprite of asteroid underscore 2. It's not going to use physics, but what it is going to do is it's going to, when I click on this, right? So I want to have the left pressed. I now want it to follow the mouse. So let's say I want to make a Boolean over here. I would assume that the variable definitions right here would be the same place. Let's say if you would have a script where all of your variables are, you can also just add them right here. I guess you could probably also add it as a script. There's probably a way to also add a sort of a main script to an object, but I think that that's fair enough. So this would be a following mouse, and this is a Boolean, which is first of all going to be false over here. That's fine. And then if left is pressed on this, I want to say following mouse is equal to true. Actually, no, I want to toggle this. So basically you just toggle this on and off when you click on it. Another question is there just an event that just continues to go, a create event? I would assume that the create event probably only happens once when this particular object is created. Is it a step? Well, I mean, we might as well try, right? So this could be the case. So I basically want to set this position. Can I just take the position change? Is there like maybe a set position over here? There's not. Okay, I just have to set X and Y independently. Can I get the mouse position though? That is a big question. Mouse button, mouse X, mouse Y. There's no freaking way. There is no freaking way that that's going to just work. Well, also you only want to do this if following mouse is true. I can put in normal curly brackets. That's all good. Okay, well, I mean, then in theory, if the step is the thing that gets called, let's say every frame, every step, every tick, whatever you want to call it, then in theory, the asteroid should now follow the mouse when I click it, and then as soon as I click it again, it should stop following the mouse. If this works, I'm going to be real. I would be a little bit impressed because that makes it really freaking easy. And I'm going to give that would be crazy to me. So let's get the asteroid over here, the object right in here. Let's make it a scale of 2 by 2. And then also we see that the bounding box is actually really huge. So let's actually change the bounding box as well. I'm sure that we can do this. We can do this by going in here and changing it in the object itself. So you can see same as a sprite, but I don't want that to be the case. I want to change it. Can I just change it like in here? Yes, I can. Look at this craziness. We can change the origin. Okay, that's also pretty freaking nice, but I want to change the collision mask. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I just want to have this over here. Is this already going to do it? So while the object is this size, the collision mask might only be the object itself. I mean, we're going to see it, right? Well, let's just try it out. So I can click here. Nothing happens. I click here. And it doesn't follow the mouse 100%. Oh, it actually does follow the mouse. No. This is exactly what we have. And now I can't click it, which makes sense. So the reason why it does that is, oh my God, this is so good. Because the collision mask, the origin is right here. So I have to put the origin into the middle, right? So if I put the origin into 48, it's going to be exactly in the middle. And now all of a sudden, bam, bam, I go in here. It follows the mouse exactly. And I can click and I can set it down again. Ooh, this is really good. That is amazing. Oh, I think I underestimated GameMaker a lot in the past. Wow. That is... I am absolutely in shock with this because that is so freaking easy and intuitive. All of this is completely intuitive. The entirety of the ideas of the events, having like tiny scripts for each event. Maybe one has to get used to that, but I think that that's fine. The real question though is, can I like take certain scripts over here and like, do I use them? So could I player movement? There it is. So that would be the constructor of my custom written script. So in theory, if I understand this correctly, and once again, if there are any GameMaker people in the comments, please feel free to share your insights with me. If I've done anything wrong or there's any other things that you want to share with me, please. I would love to look through the comments and continue to read them in the next couple of episodes here. My question for the scripts is, so does that mean when I write a script over here, for example, the player movement script, right? I can access all of the code right here in these like tiny code snippets that I write for each of the events. Would this be one of the ways that you would do it? Right, so for the scripts, I could write stuff in the scripts and it would execute that for me, right? So right now, let's say I'm just going to also do a player underscore movement right here, which is the constructor. And I guess you can add multiple things. So this should, well, first of all, remove this. Let's actually quickly remove this. There you go. Should only show debug message test. So that should happen every time I click on the asteroid now. And it does. So you can have sort of global scripts that you reference and then tiny scripts for each of your different events. Fascinating. That is a fascinating way to do it. Okay, so now there's one more thing that I want to try because I really would like to see if this is also quite easy. So in theory, in the step method, also what I find absolutely fascinating is that you can add a description right here and you can tell like what this is doing. That's also really freaking good for me so that you can understand what this is doing. So I'd say this is like following the mouse. Bam, bam, and then it says step following the mouse. Wow, this is so good. This is so freaking good. What do you mean? I'm so impressed with this. Okay, I want to do another thing, and that is if the thing is not following the mouse, so this is of course like following the mouse exactly, I actually want this to follow the player. So is there like a so there's a move a collide method, interesting. There's a move bounce all, there's a move towards method to a point. I can't. Can I now just like get how can I reference the other thing? Well, I guess the player tank, player ID, player type, player movement. Well, that is a resource. So that's the question is whether or not this is going to reference the this object right here or the object inside of the game. And I do a var, so this would be the player equals to player tank. And I can say player.x, player.y, and then the last one is probably the delta, I would assume, right? Like how fast you're moving towards them. There's no way. If this just works, oh my gosh. It actually just works. That's craziness. What are you talking about? That is beyond me. That was the easiest move toward, what the heck? Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. All right. So after the first episode right here, GameMaker, I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of in love. Okay. This is very straightforward. This, to me, I mean, at least to me, this is incredibly intuitive. I have looked up literally one thing, which was the show debug message, because that's a little bit strange that that's the name of it, but fair enough. Also, that's not even correct. I also did look up that if you name a variable speed, then the player's just going to move to the right for some reason. But apart from that, this is so incredibly intuitive. I am in awe. I am completely gobsmacked. I was bamboozled. I thought GameMaker was just not that good, but it's really freaking good. To be fair though, last time I tried it it's forever ago, so fair enough. Holy moly. Well, that is gonna do it for this episode. If you have anything to say, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. This is absolutely, I'm still a little bit in shock. And you can continue watching me in shock in the left episode right here when we continue GameMaker, or in the right episode where we will tackle a completely other game engine, hopefully also in a similar shocked way. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.